We are back with yet another exciting episode, Dirty Laundry Game Worn Hockey Podcast. Had a great interview last week, and now Wade and Paul join me back this week with a pile of shit to cover from all over the place. And my God, it's freaking July 27th. I thought the summer would kind of, for hobby-wise, would be pretty quiet. It's not. For any of you people, of course, this will be published on Friday once it's posted. And that we know the Ottawa collectors will be much happier now with being able to buy some Tarasenko jerseys since he signed with them on a year deal. I'll be curious to see what the pricing of those are, because normally, I know at least in the past, I don't know if they still do it, they just post them all to their website. Still correct?
Pretty affordable too.
So, but the last couple of years, they've taken the higher end guys and they've auctioned them.
Okay. Then they'll
So I'm
likely
sure
do that one too.
Yeah, Tarasenko should be auctioned, and then the guys who they don't put in the auctions, they then put on the website for really, like you said, Wade, great pricing.
Yeah, and us Americans love that exchange rate too, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, a lot of different things to touch on at the end of the show. I'll touch on some different upcoming expos. We have a decent amount of those. One of the first things, and it's been several weeks, and it's kind of made it around some of the parts of the hobby. But Paul, you made a new purchase. What was that?
Yes. Well, we'll get into the shark sales. The Sharks have.
Yep. Well, the Sharks have been having daily sales. It seems like the way they publish them.
You are not exaggerating all that much. We had the massive equipment sale, the one which I take photos at, and everyone knows we've covered that one pretty good. Within a month after that, they did a sidewalk sale, which was basically all the leftover stuff and leftover jerseys and sticks. Most of the gear was already elsewhere, and like leftover merch, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all that stuff. That was the second one. The third one, this is alluding to your question. They did a warehouse sale. And what is going on? There are two warehouses behind SAP, which are going to be demolished within the next year or two to build a parking structure and parking lots. Okay. As part of the city's agreement with the Sharks, and I guess this is from a while ago, they had to build parking for them. There's also the complication that Google had bought all the land around there, which is why the poorhouse moved down the street. People, I know they've heard about that. And that they bought many, many acres around it and around the train station. And that project's now on hold. So it's kind of deserted on that part. And Google might never build there, COVID and the economy has to do with that. So back to the point of the story, there's two warehouses. And one of them, they were taking the stuff out, and they had a warehouse sale, and it was like a lot of bobbleheads, jerseys,
and this glasses. Stuff going back years too. It's not just recent.
Oh yeah, it's like whatever they found. They had boxes of videotapes that they're not selling, but like from old game tapes from like the first few seasons. Wow. Mitch has his name on that. They had some trophies back there, which they're not selling yet. There's some fascinating stuff. If you've been to SAP in the club level, they have these, I'm guessing they're about 3x3 photos hung up on the walls. They had those for sale at $10 each.
Damn.
So there's a great photo of Jody Shelley pummeling Peros from the Ducks at the time. I mean, he's around like this. And our son, Jody's his favorite player for a number of reasons and all that. I got there just a little bit late after it started. And turns out Mitch had that photo, and he actually gave that to me.
Oh, that's awesome. Mitch is a good guy. We're still working on having him come on soon, too.
Yes, he is. That was, it meant so much to Monica and to Ronan that they're still blown away by it. Matter of fact, we hung it up in the back living room a few days ago, and it's damn good thing Mitch did. So thank you, Mr. Mitch. So that's the boring stuff from the sale. And a lot of people I know already know what happened. They they had a set of goals from the Sharks, and I ended up picking up. I now have 2 goals in my front yard.
I'm sorry, I've got to laugh for that because I know you're not a hockey player or anything, and I'm going to ask, what the hell are you going to do with those? I mean, it's cool you own them, but what are you actually going to do with them? Or do you?
One, I'm gonna loan to John, and he's using John Nakasone. He's going to use it for his son for practice.
Nice.
That's the one which has the net on it.
Hmm.
It's just shocking how heavy and sturdy these things are.
Yeah, when I'm a goalie and trying to set even the posts back on with those things, yeah, they're heavy as hell.
Yes, it took some effort to get them home. We had to borrow a friend's truck. We got them home. Well, and the one we're probably going to put in the garden or something in the back. We'll figure out exactly how that works. So that was a cool purchase, but
And didn't you photo match one of them?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I thought you'd had a post where, or somebody had a post where you'd photo match it to something.
That's what I said. I have no idea how you photo match a goal. It's the whole truth about that comment is I love that photo of Franzen scoring against the Sharks. And we have that jersey. We're Red Wings fans first and all that. So any chance I get to use that photo for something, I do it. And it's so
That's
I will be honest, people. It could be that goal, the goal that was used there. I have no idea. All I know is it was used in SAP, and I don't know which years or anything. So,
but it makes me think that those are the main ones, because most teams have the warm up / practice, and then they have the good solid NHL ones. And those, I mean, looking at the pictures, those make me lean toward they're the actual game ones and not the warm up practice ones.
I believe that is correct. I've never really gone close detail and stuff on the ice for the goals and stuff. The netting's unbelievable in it. It even has like the NHL logo on the netting.
Nice.
And it's incredible quality. And the stuff is so heavy. I figure the scrap metal has to be worth a fortune. So
I feel like you're just trying to avoid the real topic of what we asked about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm getting there. So
he's just building up to it, Wade. I mean,
I just can't quit laughing.
So across the street there was a Zamboni.
What? What did you say?
Thank you. And I gotta make this clear. There was no alcohol involved. This was early in the morning. The sale started at 8. And we start talking about, well, is it for sale? And I'm like, sure. We don't have a use for it. They threw out a price. I countered a lot lower than that. We came up with a price. And we had 4 of us go in. Mitch, of course. Mitch,
because the Zamboni's not a one-man purchase.
Zamboni is not a one-man purchase. We had Mitch, we had Logan, and EJ. So all 4 of us own the Zamboni. I don't know the video. That's the key for it. You notice it's a Molson bottle opener.
Yes.
And yes, and show Zamboni.
Top speed of 6 miles an hour.
Top. So I don't know much about Zambonis. I don't think anyone should know a lot about Zambonis.
Other than the people that drive them and maintain ice.
Yes. Supposedly they've switched out the transmission. And it's street ready now. And they've used this Zamboni. It was on the ice for ages.
Mm-hmm.
And now they use it for parades and stuff.
Okay.
And now we own it, and we have to get it out of there by March.
You see, you've got some time. At least they didn't give you like 2 days. Get this damn thing out of here.
No, we have a plan for storing it and where it'll go. And, we got to start checking to make sure how well it works. And I don't know what we're going to do with it. Put it in parades, bring it to shows. Mitch wants to turn it into a giant beer cooler.
I was actually going to remark that because St. Louis has one that, and I don't know how they did it. I have an idea of what they did to make it this way, but I think like where the part of the ice, because the whole front store is the ice, there are beer taps on the side of it. So you could tap stuff off. The biggest thing would be keeping it cool. But yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be too hard to do.
Did the one you buy, does it have the stuff like all the equipment is removed, right? So it's not not able to fix the ice anymore.
I mean, I know it has the scraper and stuff in the back.
Okay, so it still has everything.
Yeah, it's my understanding it has everything, or the only thing that was supposedly changed was the transmission.
And that would make sense because of one, 6 miles an hour, and two, that transmission's not designed to be run as long as it was. I bet it rides for shit on the street though.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have it towed up to storage and stuff, and then do some work on it and bring it out for expos and stuff here.
You're gonna drive it to St. Louis for the expo next year.
I'll leave now.
I'm telling you right now, I believe that from you, but I have like this most sneaking suspicion that at some point Mitch is pulling that thing out, and you're just gonna see like a video or picture of Mitch like just cruising down in it. I mean, that's why I think I'm so entertained, because I don't
drives the Zamboni to the home opener of the Sharks.
Yeah.
And alcohol better not be involved.
Right. Hey, there is the honest to God, and I'd hack it find it, but I believe it was in Canada. There's an honest to God Zamboni DUI case.
I have heard of that. Yes,
it is not some wives' tale, but it actually happened.
Oh man.
So a few more details on the Zamboni. It the thing's huge. I mean, I didn't realize. I mean, I've been next time I've seen them. It's like, it's not till like you're measuring. It's just like, damn, this is.
Yeah, I'll tell you, actually just really stand there and go, holy shit, this is huge.
Yeah. But what have we gotten ourselves into? It has the shark fin on the top, so it's even
cool.
taller. A little bit of trivia. During, I believe it was the Cup run year when they lost to the Penguins in the finals. During one of the playoff games, or one of the games during the end of the season, a black cat ran across the ice. They ended up adopting it. It was Joe Pavelski, or Joe Pavelski. I can't say that correctly.
Pavelski?
Yeah. But Paw instead of Pav.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was having a hard time picking that up there. Okay. I love that name. That's awesome.
Yes. But that cat was born in the Zamboni.
Oh, nice.
So there was a whole litter of cats born in the Zamboni, and that was the one from it. So clearly the Zamboni was in the SAP building at that time, and all the art's still on the Zamboni, so we'll have to see what we can match it to.
I was just about to ask that question and wait for Wade to fall on the chair. Have you photo matched the Zamboni yet?
No, but it will be easier than photo matching the goals. So,
but I mean, I'm sorry, when you I was
cool.
in where the hell? Oh, I was in South Dakota. When you posted about that and reached out to you, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, holy shit, Paul just bought a Zamboni. But you know what? That's a cool game used piece. I don't know that any other collectors have a game used Zamboni.
Doc, let's be honest. If one became available in St. Louis, there's a group of us who would buy it.
Yep, and it'd be parked in your damn driveway.
It'd be my driveway or garage for sure, and I wouldn't say a word. I would love it. I'd pull it out all the time and just be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Our neighbors are all for us parking it in front of the house. They're just like they. I mean, it's not going to fit there, but
this is my favorite podcast of all the ones we've done.
that is awesome. You post about that. I was so excited, and we were trying to time some things and talk about it sooner, and scheduling just didn't quite work. But I definitely wanted to get on that because I knew just that alone would be a fun conversation. There were some other sales the last few days. Vegas did one. I didn't see much before, but saw some posts afterwards. Some look like some decent pricing. And Paul, you've got some more info on that than I do.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people who went to the Vegas one. They had, I guess it was a room of game worn stuff, but no jerseys, at least not game jerseys from the past year.
Mm-hmm.
They did from the two previous seasons. They had grab bags. It was $250, $500, and $750. And
real quick, sorry, $250 is a steal for a Vegas jersey.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I saw someone pulled one, and I believe it had the All-Star patch on it, and there weren't too many of those. I thought that was in the $250 box.
Wow.
I know a Pax already got pulled in the $500 box. It's and like I said, nothing from this past season. So everyone who keeps asking about finals jerseys, they don't know what they're doing with them yet. I guess there was a lot of gear. They kept bringing stuff out during the day. They had smaller groups go in, so it wasn't the zoo you kind of expected there.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in? Was it a season ticket holder thing, or was it just like you needed to know what was happening?
See. My understanding is season ticket holders got in early compared to everyone else, and I'm not sure what other groups got in before that. But they limited the grab bags to 2 per person, which
Reasonable.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially at that price point. I mean,
Yeah.
a decent Vegas jersey for $750. It's
Oh yeah, especially when you've seen the pricing on their website for them.
oh yeah, it's and I mean I'm surprised because I know I would have bought the packs already at 500 if they put it on their website at that. It's
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have paid more, but yeah. So it seemed like a really cool thing they did, and it looked like a lot of fun. I know a lot of goalie gear seemed to go out.
Yep. I saw some different. I'm blanking on his name. The young goalie. His whole set was sold.
The gold set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
drawing
was
a blank.
questions if it was cup worn or not, but they were whoever posted was looking at it. They weren't sure.
Very cool.
Also today, Tampa, and again, I saw it only secondhand, shared later, as Tampa did kind of a garage sale thing too, and then posted. I don't know if it was online or in person or a combination of both. Somebody did share from the Tampa group their portal, and there were signed jerseys, issued jerseys that were I think $200-300, but they were nothing big name. And maybe some of that was left over, but I'll try and do some more digging of exactly how that was ran. Dallas did theirs recently. Again, I didn't see much about it or any like big excitement or anything like that in what was sold there. I think there's some one or two. Nashville may have done one too, but again, it was. I just heard a little bit of somebody post about it afterwards, but didn't really see much announced beforehand. And Wade, I know you were up there and didn't do much with jerseys, but you did covering our we go everywhere to get news. We're up at Nationals in Chicago.
Yeah, the Sports Nationals in Chicago. I mean, the event itself was gigantic. I think that's the one thing I took away from it. If you've ever been to the National in Chicago, like they opened up 2 more halls to like accommodate this thing. It was literally like just unbelievably big. If you were a game used or a jersey collector, was not your cup of tea. Beyond the fact that places like Heritage and that had some incredible game used. A lot of the auction houses had some incredible vintage game used and just some amazing stuff in their cabinets for future auctions and what have you. The only real representation from our communities was J&J and Double Deke had a booth, had a spot that they did and had some really nice Penguin stuff, and John had a really nice rack of stuff out there as well. Beyond that, I think Kruk Cards had one rack of some of their leftover Blues. I think they had 2 Blues jerseys on that rack, and then beyond that, it was some football jerseys and stuff like that. As far as for game used collectors, not really the event for that. But if you were into cards or graded stuff and autographs, I mean, incredibly, like the volume of stuff in that room was incredible. Really was.
No, at least I mean, and again, all that is taken off. The card stuff, the autograph stuff is still going just batshit.
Wild. The amount of obviously, I mean, I'm being involved in the hobby and being involved in that part of the hobby for a career for a long time. The mere, like, all the breaks, if you're into like card breaks and all that stuff, I mean, that used to be kind of a niche thing. I mean, they had like 2 rooms full of just people, and the amount of people walking around there with like doing, their social media stuff.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. It's a neat event. I mean, it's really a spectacular. It's a spectacle. It's spectacular. It really is. As far as for our community, there's so many. It's not a game used event, but it is still neat to be in there. And I got to see a lot of friends and had a nice time visiting. But our expos are something so much different and kind of more special, I think, because this community is so tightly knit and there's so many good people involved in it. Um, and then we don't have one of those big national events, but the regional stuff and some of these shows that we talk about are incredible. If you're really wanting to get your hands on game used, the expos and the shows are so valuable.
Yep, and we'll touch on all the different ones with upcoming here soon. You mentioned Heritage. I did want to bring this up and forgot earlier. I'd sent the link to you, Wade, the other day, and Paul, I forgot to send it. But Heritage Auctions currently has and it ends in 24 days. One of the front office employees from the St. Louis Blues has his Stanley Cup up for auction. Does not say who, and I don't think there's any stuff on it that says who the ownership is, but is currently at $1,600. And I do like the fact that on Heritage's site, they put right there what the buyer's premium is, so you know it at all times. Buyer's premium is $1,920, but does close in 24 days. So I'll be curious to see where that goes.
I can't say I've seen a lot of those pop up over the years.
I don't think I've seen
from any other franchise either,
But I'm curious because it's 18-19 season. It's only 23. What the hell's if it's front office?
It's only it's like a foot tall. It's not big either.
No,
I think it's 13 inches tall or something.
But
pretty neat.
Let's see. Yeah, 13 inches tall, has the names of the players and the team personally etched into the sign. Bottoms has the Bofi Inc. manufacturer sticker applied to brown felt. Was originally given to a front office employee. Estimated value is $6,000 plus. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on it. We'll mention it in the podcast once it ends. But yeah, I forgot. I just now thought of that, but wanted to mention again, you need any interesting game worn pieces. Heritage has several things going on. There's several hockey things in there. So you could definitely check them out. sports.ha.com. See, before we get into one of the other, I don't say earth-shattering, but surprising hockey things that came down yesterday and was confirmed. Paul, you wanted to kind of, we had talked several weeks ago and you were unable to make it due to prior commitments about the warm-up jerseys and how that was done and the future of that. But you wanted to kind of share your thoughts on it. I'll give you the floor and let you go to town.
Thank you. I kind of had a different take than a lot of the show.
I thought that's why you guys are all here.
Yeah, I thought it was very cowardly of the NHL pulling the plug on them. I know it was a business sense and all that, but you guys kind of cut to it. There's one reason why they did this, and it was the pride jerseys, plain and simple. And you look at what the NHL has done in the past with you can play and hockey is for everyone. I know one wasn't started by the NHL, but
still, it encourages that.
It encourages that. And the NHL, more than any other professional league, has taken the front seat in equality and just doing what's right. And I know we started getting some cracks with the year before, I guess, with some people complaining about having to wear the jerseys and stuff. And this past year, we probably had 5-10 players who refused to wear the jerseys. Other teams canceled, so we don't know what the numbers are, like the Wild did. I know they're going to come up with other plans and stuff to hopefully make the event Pride Night or Hockey is for Everyone Night special. But we've talked on the show about how it would be cool if the NHL would allow these warm-up jerseys to be worn during a game, kind of like the AHL does and stuff. And this, to me, it's the wrong decision. I know it's going to keep certain people happy, and it's going to avoid some problems that certain players who didn't want to wear it, aren't going to be put in that situation. but the NHL was doing such a good thing in a very important area, and it's a step backwards from them. And I'm disappointed in the league. I'm disappointed in Bettman.
And that's why we played the audio that we did. I didn't want to put words in his mouth or misquote, and that's why we brought that audio in, because it was that important to hear. And it was right during the Board of Governors meeting and that.
Yeah, it's a shame. And I'm one who I do not collect warm-up jerseys. I think I have one NHL warm-up jersey. No, I have two NHL warm-up jerseys in our collection. A Jody Shelley, because it's Jody, and one of the Gordie Howe 85th birthday jerseys. And that's it. Everything else I have warm-up wise or specialty is from other leagues. But
and I mean, and I brought it up in the other show, and Wade did as well, is we don't get them because they're worn for such a limited time, and the prices are insane. I mean, some of the designs are cool, and some of the other teams have gone way above and beyond what the Blues and some other teams have done, where they're very generic, for lack of a better word. But some of the teams go like Arizona, some of theirs, or even some of San Jose's. Holy hell, those designs are cool as shit.
Look at the Manitoba Moose. I know it's AHL, but their specialty jerseys are out of this world.
Yep.
It's
and I guess part of it is too, and you mentioned it early on, is wearing them the full game. Is the AHL and the East Coast League have such a wide berth to be able to do what they want. They can spend the money to do more, and I think in some cases the teams wear them an entire weekend and then auction them off, depending on because I'd be much more excited to get it if I know, okay, this weekend is whatever this event is, and it's going to be worn 2 games. Well, a lot can happen in those 2 games. My favorite player gets in a fight, whatever. There's actually going to be wear to them. And they'll smell like hell because you know you're getting them and they're not washed.
Oh, God. Yeah, we've had some of those. Other team which does it right for specialties are Chicago Wolves.
Yep.
They're stunningly beautiful jerseys, and they wear them a game or two. I'm not sure the exact numbers on that, but some of them have wear.
No, and as we mentioned in the other show, and now with you here, is it'll be interesting to see how those nights go this year. Yes. If the teams try to make the extra effort because they know this is lacking, or again, if they're still going to do jerseys, are they going to have certain players model them? I mean, what are they going to do with them? Are they going to go out, call it a week before the game and say, hey, we're doing this event or this community event while wearing the jerseys, and then you can see your favorite player wear it, whatever. So this next year will be very telling on how the teams react.
Yeah, my gut feeling is they're just going to be like game issue jerseys. It's just going to be a specialty jersey and
you're going to see a huge drop off in sales. I mean, it sounds bad. Yeah, if the player never even put them on, that's gonna turn some people off.
Oh yeah,
they have their name on the back. Whoop-de-doo, he never put it on.
Yeah, it's at all levels. It's disappointing, and it's a shame.
So yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see, and the season's not far away at all.
No, not at all.
So the other, and again, I appreciate your opinion on this, and it's been interesting to follow the different game use groups, the discussions back and forth and debates and stuff, and it's not going to die anytime soon. Let's put it that way.
I'll refrain from further comment, but thank you for letting me get.
Of course, hey. And if there's other people listening to this and want to chime in at some point, again, Paul, Wade, all the guys I've had on are great. I have no problem adding additional people. I did invite for our next topic, did put an invite out there at Paul's help, because again, I don't know who everybody focuses on. Did reach out to Tom Frost on the next topic. He might still be able to join us, but he had some things going on back home. He wasn't sure if he would be able to get in at some point. But we got to talk about Boston. Yesterday, a photo was shown of Migre's page with the Boston logo missing. And then once that was shared in the chat, And I apologize who it was from Migrate that commented, but they actually did comment in there and said it was true. So we're not spreading rumors. We're not making shit up. And if I apologize, I couldn't find the post in time, but somebody from Migrate did confirm it in there. If I knew who it was, I would put your name out, and I apologize.
It was Dave who made the comment.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. I figured one of you guys would know, and Wade with representing Dirty Laundry up at Nationals, that he wasn't in the loop quite as much. So I figured
I missed it.
we'll have to get you a nice polo to wear next year. I forgot about that.
I need it.
So Boston's taking their stuff in-house. How do we feel about that? And it's not surprising. More and more teams are doing it with the ease of the online systems that there are. Basically, it's plug and play. Load up the jerseys, put the price, and fire off the auction, or just post them online for a call it buy it now price if it's like those pages. What do we think? Does it get more difficult in-house? Do they limit? Because Migrate has a great selection of stuff, and people could pre-order and all that.
It's Migrate makes it easy to get the stuff you want. Someone might beat you to it, on the pre-order or something.
Right. And that's, we all get that, which is okay, but
it's a fair system.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the team systems, I don't know if I'd call it fair. You look at the Flames, their pricing was great, but the reverse retros and the other alt, those sold out in minutes, and a lot of people had stuff in their cart and couldn't check out because they got in their cart, they couldn't get it. I do know the Bruins are reaching out to other teams and asking.
I've seen some of those conversations in the Facebook post too.
Oh, okay, yes. I know they're asking how other teams do this. So I don't think they know what they're doing yet for next year. I know they have a position open for
that
athletics coordinator. I forget what the title was.
I'm a little surprised though, because it's July 27th. The clock's ticking. You'd think maybe you would have some of that in place before you're going to name. Start to see what the hell you're doing.
Well, they got to get tagging in them. You're talking. It's August, so August, September. People are going to be in jerseys by September, October for camps and stuff. They're suddenly untagged. If they're not putting the Migrate tags back in them, or the Migrate, So not only does somebody have to come up with a program for what they're going to do with them, the equipment people have to figure out how they're going to tag them. There's a lot of moving parts to that beyond just how they're going to sell them once they get them. But even getting to how they're going to track them is going to be going to be a lot of hands in that cookie jar too, I'm sure.
But you're talking about stuff that's important to us.
Right. Yeah. A good point.
Is it important to the Bruins?
That's the question is, who do they hire and how knowledgeable are they about what everybody else is doing or how it's successful other places?
Exactly. You look, it's more common in the AHL and ECHL. A lot of jerseys don't have tags.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's written in marker or just nothing.
Or nothing,
yeah.
And then you have teams like the Minnesota Wild who had a program and then disappeared for years. And then, just threw stuff in a warehouse, basically. Who knows what's happening with the Bruins? And I agree, they have to do it right. They have a lot of work to do, and it's coming up soon.
And maybe they're not available this year. With you having a rush, like especially if you're going to come up with some kind of tagging system, or if you're just going to say, screw it, we're writing with marker on the inside of the back of the logo or something, you've still got to have some idea of what the hell you're doing. And to have a system in place by the time the puck drops, that seems pretty tight, especially if the job's open.
Yeah.
You've not already brought somebody in to start heading this stuff up.
As far as the tagging goes, you'd have to hope that somebody in the equipment staff who's dealt with Migrate for the last 15 odd years of them, that they have some kind of common sense idea on what to do to make it work, at least first year out. The logistics of that aren't that hard if their equipment guys have had any interaction with MyGray. I mean, as far as putting a tag in it, but tracking a trackable tag is a whole totally different thing.
Right. And
now it's going to be interesting.
Well, and they may do like what the Blues do with using the NHL tracking tag. They're pulling the I think they're pulling the information off that.
Yeah.
And that's how one of the things they're doing with those barcodes.
I truly
maybe they're
think
scanning them. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, the first set of the Blue stuff that only had that tag in it and didn't have set tags in it. I honestly think the Blues at some level were considering just using the barcode tag. And then I really think that they got the feedback from everybody, all the collectors, and everybody was like, where's the Levy tag? Where's the Levy tag? And I think that almost forced the hand to say, okay, we got to put those back in.
Because a barcode sticker, just like we were talking before the show coming on, the old stickers for Upper Deck falling off jerseys and falling off different.
I have a Blues jersey from this last season that the barcode tag that, the one that they're putting in there now is like loose peeling on it. And I'm just like, oh God,
Right. You got to keep that somewhere so you can know.
Yeah. Or, the question is, do you put a little tab of glue on it to get it down? I'm not trying to heat. I mean, there's a lot of questions there, I don't want it to fall off.
Will the Blues fix it for you?
That's a great question. I never even thought of that.
Because we've had the Sharks equipment staff help fix other issues on jerseys like that from years ago.
Maybe I'll reach out for the next episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let
us know how it goes.
Yes.
And please come home with the Zamboni too.
Yes. Yeah, we'll call it next time we call down there and say, hey, you guys got any of those laying around? Well, hell, between the Mills and the other places, they may have one.
I would be willing to bet there's. Well, I mean, the Mills still has ice there, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if there's. I can't remember if their Zamboni was wrapped or not. That's a great question.
Yeah, some were. Yeah, some were. But yeah, everybody wants to now be like Paul and own a Zamboni.
The plot thickens.
Yes.
How long is it going to be until one of us has a Zamboni here in St. Louis?
So, and I guess one other question with Boston, and let me, and I'm actually on my Gray site because I was just curious. Again, I don't buy Boston stuff, so I don't know the pricing, but I was just kind of curious to see what's out there. Is there's a lot of tons of practice jerseys, and I'm trying to find out some of the bigger name players that I know. A lot of David Backus old jerseys for $750 or $9.95 in case you like him still. There's only a page of jerseys out here, so I don't know if all the rest sold or they've yanked them or what the story is, but there's not many out here. But $5.95, $7.95. What do you guys think Boston will price these at?
Again, it depends on who they hire or how they sell them. You got to assume that and
remember what Vegas did. Vegas kicked the pricing through the damn roof.
Well, and that's what you have to assume. I mean, I think that's really the case in a lot of this stuff. As I think that a lot of these franchises are saying, "Hey, why don't we make the money? Why don't we make the money? Why?
Let's not give somebody else a cut. We just get it all."
Yeah. They obviously think that if they hire somebody, let's say it's a $65,000 a year job, they obviously think that they can supplement they're going to make enough to cover that and still make a profit above what they were making at MyGray. So, interesting question.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting once I'll be curious to see what they post, or once they post their stuff, or maybe they take the year building it up and we don't see any sales or any stuff happen till near the end of the season.
Will be interesting.
Once we kind of hear more and maybe some more details leak out. Hell, I may even reach out to Tom Frost, see if he knows anybody with the Bruins and say, hey, you want to come on? Let's talk about this. I mean, we welcome NHL teams if they want to come put it out there. I know we're not the biggest dog on the block by far, but we have a good listenership, and we're, I think, north of 4,000 listens between all the different places now. So we do appreciate that, by the way. And yes, I'll keep plugging those and thanking everybody. It might get tiresome, but I don't care. So thank you all for listening. And I've gotten messages from people, hey, great show, great topic on this or whatever. So send those. And you don't have to just send them to me. If you want to send them to Paul, send them to Wade, send them to Justin. If you want to even post them when I share the show out, I don't care. If there's things you don't like, tell me that too.
Oh,
I mean, we're not going to get offended or bent. We can, if there's things we need to tweak or you don't like how something sounds, whatever, we'll do it. Let's
we all want to make this good. I mean, I think we do this because we love the hobby, but I think one other thing is, we've talked about it, Doc. We want to make it as good as possible so people can enjoy it even more.
And I know I'm not good with, and I should be because I'm in IT and put a ton of hours in. I don't do much with the production and the graphics. And I mean, I got my jerseys hanging on my little on-air sign for the background. I mean, nothing special. It's the conversation. I don't care as much about what the background looks like and all that. And a lot of people are listening to it audio only, so they don't give a damn what it looks like anyway. So again, thank you. Some of the expos coming up. Ice Violence, Mike Hogan's having a kind of a get-together expo August the 11th out in New Jersey. Paul, you're attending the huge one, and we've plugged this a few times now. Stefan Prill's August 26th and 27th in Dusseldorf, Germany, the first World Expo. Is this, I think we mentioned this before, but I don't remember. Is this the first non-US expo? I mean, not counting Canada, because I just lumped them in together.
Well, this will be the third expo I've been to in Dusseldorf.
Okay, I didn't realize he'd done past ones. That's my fault.
Yes, he's done, and he's done them for years before that too. I know there's been some in Finland.
Okay.
I know the group of collectors get together there every year. I know at least before COVID. I think they're doing that again.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, this is and there's been a number, I guess, in the past in Germany. I'm not sure outside of Germany and Finland though, what has gone on. So
September 30th, you have the South Jersey Expo George is putting on Saturday, September 30th. That info, most of these are all on Facebook as well, so easily found. SoCal Expo in Santa Clarita, Saturday, October the 7th. And Wade, the St. Louis Game War Expo, October 21st and 22nd. We mentioned that, I think, a handful of weeks ago. The night of October 21st, which is a Saturday, is a home Blues game. So we're navigating all that right now as well. Always exciting to have an expo on a hockey weekend.
Yeah. I also have, and I'm not going to announce players yet, but through a couple ventures, it looks like we're going to have a couple autograph signers on both days. So
always fun.
Yeah, we need to have a couple of those guys come in and
you better damn believe whenever we and maybe we split it over 2 days, record the podcast from there, we will pull them in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Even if they only want to talk for a few minutes or ask them if they think we're all fucking crazy for collecting their jerseys. So,
yes.
So we'll see. Before we get out of here, any other things you want to touch on? Wade, we'll start with you.
No, I mean, I think it's been an interesting summer in the hobby. I think there's been a lot of big releases, with the Milt list and, some good stuff and some auctions. The one thing I noticed was there's been some for sale posts on the Blues end, people moving stuff. And I think that might be because we didn't make the playoffs, but it's been, in the past, I've noticed that it's very seasonal sometimes. And it seems like we're growing into a thing where it's constantly evolving material and jerseys and equipment and stuff. And I think that speaks some good volume of the growth of what we all like, that it's not falling where like, hey, the season's over, put up all your stuff and like, don't think about it for 2 or 3 months. So that's just my final thought is like, keep doing that. Cause I think it's great for the hobby that people are staying connected to the stuff throughout a full 365 days.
And if you want to share those mail days and that stuff, that's cool. I mean, it's cool to see what people are picking up, or if you're going to team sales and you find whatever, or you find a Zamboni, share that shit out there because it's cool and it makes fun stories and it shows a passion. If you find some no-name guy and you're excited, share it out there. Who gives a damn?
Yeah. I think that's been...
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Wade.
No, Paul, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love seeing photos from the sales and from expos. It's I don't know, Wade, if you took any up at the national, but
Took a
it's
few pictures with friends, nothing crazy. I didn't want to be one of those guys running around with the camera over my head.
oh
Yeah, all the Instagram and YouTube people,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know, and good on them. I mean, we have it to a normal
No,
level, and it's
I-
funny because after I
I'm gonna.
launched the show,
Yeah,
sorry, wait, I'll get back to you here in 1 second.
yeah.
Once the show's up and been up for a few days, I love being able to go in and look at all the metrics and see where people are watching from and all that stuff. And again, thank you. I don't want to beat that to death, but please go ahead, Wade. What you were
I
saying?
guess one final thought I had, and it was actually I had a moment of like I was in the national, and I'm kind of standing around. And I was talking to a few kind of veteran guys or people I knew, and the one thing I kind of laughed is, all these kids that are collecting cards have those like suitcase boxes that look like safes now, that they pull around and they carry around with their real expensive graded cards. And I was kind of I smiled and I thought to myself, I remember 5 years ago when the hobby felt like it was starting to die a little bit, and I didn't see as many young faces involved. And I was walking around the national, and there were so many young kids involved. And I was a kid who started out with cards and autographs and stuff, and kind of matriculated myself into jerseys as much. So I mean, I think that's great for when I say the hobby, I mean across the board, whatever people are collecting. But seeing a lot of young kids that are passionately involved in the hobby, whether it be autographs, jerseys, whether it be whatever, was really neat because I think that is that something that was missing a couple years ago. We have a few young guys in the blues groups or in a few of our, in the national group, the game use collector forum. And you do see some younger, I see some, I'm getting to be an older guy, I guess, but I start to see some younger faces and younger collectors. And I can't think about how good that is for the health of what we got going on because without seeing those kids pulling around those dumb suitcases, this stuff all dies, at some level. So that I guess that's my final thought is like, if you see those kids or you're at an expo or you're, in the team store and you see some kid interested in this stuff, like give them some breath, put some words into them because without them, something that we all love kind of falls off. So
Yeah, and it's funny because I was in South Dakota at a bar eating one day, and they had a TV on, and it was on some major sports channel just showing guys doing breaks of collectible cards and stuff. I'm like, how the hell did this guy get a TV show? But it shows where the money's there, and
yeah,
I'll touch on a thing and then I'll give it to you, Paul. Is going back to the cards is we as collectors, especially the older ones, hate seeing cards cut up and turned into or jerseys cut up and turned into cards. For the modern stuff, I don't give a damn because we know
yeah,
how many of those guys wear. It's always sad when the old stuff that they only wore one or two a season gets destroyed, and I want that stopped. The modern stuff, so what? If that's
yeah,
bringing in more young collectors, great, fine. We know that McDavid wore, my God, the ton of jerseys, and you've got whenever the Hawks start doing them, they'll be cranking out jerseys for him and some of
yeah.
those other guys. So modern stuff, whatever. I don't care. I just hate
One of
seeing.
the funny things about that is you'll actually, if you look on a lot of the trading cards, they're actually starting to say event worn or player worn. And so what's going on with a lot of that stuff now on the modern stuff, rather than getting a McDavid, I mean, Upper Deck's a little different, but when I start talking about Panini and Topps and some of these other brands, what they're doing now is they're getting these guys at a signing and they'll hand them 3 or 4 jerseys. They put them on, take them off, and then what they're cutting those up and calling them event worn or player worn. So they're actually starting to get away from cutting up the stuff. I just wish they'd stay away from some of these old guys and cutting up the Brett Halls and the Gretzkys and the crazy stuff like that and the Glenn Halls and
And we see the
anybody like that.
occasional migrate tag one.
Yeah, for sure. So beyond that, like
Yeah.
it seems like it seems like the card companies are starting to get away from that cutting up jerseys, and I think it's because the values have gone up so much. But so that's interesting. One other thing, because you brought it up, the Connor Bedard thing. If you're a card collector, this is funny, and I just want to throw this out. This kind of tells how the hobby's going. So his Young Guns card, which would be his Upper Deck rookie card, they are not putting it in the Series 1 trading cards. They're putting it in the Series 2. And how it works is allocations for cards. Like if you're a dealer or own a hobby shop, you have to buy a certain amount of Series 1 without the Bedards to even get allocation for the Series 2, where they're going to put his rookie card. So Upper Deck is like almost extorting like all the card collectors. So that Series 1, you have to buy a bunch of it, sell it so that you can even have a chance at getting allocations for the Series 2 with the Bedard rookie card in it. So that was an interesting, like, not our thing, but it just kind of tells you how,
An interesting business.
they're thinking about it.
And it's funny because a complete non sequitur thing, but you mentioned is identical, is bourbon.
Yeah.
The distributors make you buy, call it lower level average stuff, or
Yeah.
sell so much other things before you can get the more rare things.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of deal. Is there so much allocated and you've got to buy the maybe not as much wanted and move so much before they even let you have the other. So
Pretty wild. But
yeah,
I just thought that was, so, on a final thought, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and the jersey thing, I'm here. If they're, if those teams are purchasing one set from one game, then so be it. But I just, and I always tell my friends in the manufacturing part of cards, like, quit cutting up those old jerseys. Like, do something else. Don't do that,
All right. Sorry, Paul. Now we'll give you your final thought. We've jumped back and forth so many times.
I really don't have too much to add. I mean, we've covered quite a bit of ground today. Like I said, looking forward to Germany. I'm excited to see everyone over there. It's
months from now. I can't wait to see pictures and hear stories once you're back.
Oh yes, yeah. You'll probably see some pictures while we're there too. So it's I mean, we haven't since COVID, we haven't done too much traveling, and it's going to be great getting back over there, and just looking forward to it.
Well, I 2 months after that, we'd like to see you in St. Louis, you and Monica.
Yeah, there is a possibility for that. We're definitely doing the Southern Cal show. We want to get something set up. I think there's a smaller event coming up in Winnipeg in the next couple weeks.
I'll see if I can dig that up quick. I think I remember seeing something, but some of those pop into my feed quick, and then trying to find it is difficult.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it's keep encouraging people, go to expos, get out there. It's a lot of the fun.
Yeah, no, that's the big thing is yes, we all of us chat through Facebook on a regular basis, but this is nice because we can actually see face to face, and we have conversations before we start recording and after and things like that. But it's so much better when we're in front of each other, sharing drinks and sharing stories and just having a good time. And it doesn't always have to be about this jersey or that jersey. It's the crazy stories of stuff we've seen or other stories that we've heard, and it's a lot of fun. And I told Mitch he needs to get his butt to St. Louis too, because I'm bringing you guys all some special Central Illinois beer. So we have a lot of good breweries.
So another expo you missed is Nova, because that's Francis has the dates for that now.
Oh yeah,
Francis did put that back in the play. I don't. Is it March again?
I think so. Monica and I are gonna try to make that trip. We're still don't have flights yet, but that's a show. I mean, it's definitely one. The reviews of that one are just incredible. Francis
March 16th.
Francis does a wonderful.
March 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different venue, but March 16th at the Westin.
Yes, close to Dulles Airport, I guess.
Yeah, it's right there. I'm a every year attender of that. That's one of my favorite things.
That's a drawback if you're on the West Coast. Everything's a flight anywhere.
At least the Midwest is a little bit easier to jump between things. You guys have longer ones. Wanted to mention too, only again, nobody's a sponsor of this show, but crack the bottle of, as you guys know, I drink a lot of Belfour on the show. I always have some kind of bourbon with me, or at least an old fashioned, but drinking some Journey. This, I believe, is only currently available in the St. Louis area, but it's put out, Chris Pronger and Sean Pronger put out together. It is available in the St. Louis area. I think it's about $25 a bottle. First time I cracked it was just before the show tonight. It is a Canadian whiskey, and I will say On the Rocks is extremely good. I didn't know what I would think, especially for anybody that drinks bourbons or whiskeys or things like that, price doesn't mean good or bad. Cheap. I've had a lot of cheap stuff that's really good. I've had some very expensive stuff that tasted like gasoline. So I just wanted to mention that for any listeners in the Midwest that might be able to pick it up. And I think they're talking about getting it outside of that, but it only released in the last month and a half or so. But it is JRNY, Chris Pronger and Sean Pronger. Gentlemen, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to get myself a sponsorship with Dr. Pepper.
Hey, you know what? I'm a big fan of that, and their strawberry cream one is really good right now too.
Thank you, guys.
Gentlemen, we started laughing with the Zamboni and finished up with hoping to get sponsorships from Journey or Dr. Pepper. So it was a great show. Paul, you can work on sponsorship by Zamboni maybe or something.
Yeah, I'll see what we can come up with.
There we go. Gentlemen, we'll see you on the next show here in a couple weeks.